The echo of defiance. The universe spoke in whispers, and on March 22nd, 2185, humanity finally learned to listen. Deep within the HFY facility in Chile, Dr. Marcus Rivera stared at his monitoring screen with growing excitement. The quantum receivers had been detecting patterns for weeks, but tonight, the signals formed something unmistakable. "Director Patel, you need to see this immediately," Marcus called, his voice tight with controlled emotion. Director Ananya Patel, a veteran astrophysicist who had devoted 40 years to the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, approached the workstation with measured steps. Her eyes widened as she studied the data streams flowing across multiple displays. "These aren't random cosmic emissions," she breathed. "The patterns showed deliberate modulation, complex encoding structures. This is artificial." Marcus nodded, fingers flying over his keyboard. "The signals originate from multiple points, all beyond our local stellar neighborhood. It's as if different civilizations are communicating with each other." The implications struck them both simultaneously. Humanity wasn't alone. And more importantly, the galaxy was already occupied by spacefaring civilizations engaged in active communication. Within hours, every major government received encrypted briefings about the discovery. In the secure conference room of the United Earth Coalition headquarters in Geneva, world leaders gathered for an emergency session. Secretary General Elena Vasquez stood before them, her expression grave but determined. "The evidence is conclusive," she announced. "We've detected at least 7 distinct sources of artificial transmissions. Our linguistic AI has identified recurring patterns that suggest a common communication protocol among these civilizations." Prime Minister Akira Tanaka of Japan leaned forward. "Have we determined their intentions? Are they aware of Earth?" Dr. Patel, present via hologram, answered, "We found no direct references to Earth or humanity in the intercepted communications. However, the very existence of this galactic network suggests established territories and possibly unified governance structures." General Sarah Cooper, commander of Earth's combined space forces, cut straight to the point. "If they don't know about us yet, they will soon. Our expanding electromagnetic signature makes discovery inevitable. We need to control that first contact." After hours of debate, the coalition reached a decision. Earth would broadcast its own message, announcing humanity's presence while establishing clear boundaries and intentions. The message would be both greeting and warning. 3 days of careful preparation followed. Linguists, mathematicians, and diplomats crafted a message using universal constants and logical progressions that any technological civilization should comprehend. On March 25, 2185, Earth spoke to the cosmos. "To all who receive this transmission, we are humanity of Earth, located in the star system you may designate as Sol. We have achieved spaceflight capability and maintain permanent settlements throughout our solar system. We desire peaceful coexistence and cultural exchange with all sapient species. However, we declare our sovereign right to our home system and will defend it against any aggression. We possess advanced defensive technologies and the resolve to use them if threatened. We invite dialogue but demand respect for our autonomy." The message included mathematical proofs, atomic structures, genetic patterns, and clear astronomical coordinates. Most significantly, it contained data about Earth's defensive capabilities, some real, some carefully exaggerated to discourage potential aggressors. Light years away, in the crystalline command center of a Vorthak Dominion patrol vessel, the message was received with considerable interest. Commander Veltak, his obsidian carapace gleaming under the ship's bioluminescent lighting, summoned his communications officer. "Analyze this transmission fully," he ordered, his mandibles clicking with curiosity. "It appears we've discovered a new primitive civilization. The Vorthak, an insectoid species that had evolved from hive-minded ancestors, now controlled over 3,000 star systems as the military arm of the Galactic Dominion. Their compound eyes could see across multiple spectrums, and their chitinous exoskeletons provided natural armor. Most importantly, they viewed the galaxy through the lens of absolute hierarchy. Species were either dominators or subjects. Commander, the communications officer, reported after thorough analysis. The species identifying as humanity possesses nuclear fusion technology and basic interplanetary travel. Their defensive claims appear significantly overstated. They've only recently achieved quantum communication capability. Veltak's antennae twitched with amusement. Another young species attempting to appear formidable. Transmit our findings to the High Command. This Earth may prove useful for resource extraction and labor conscription. The message traveled through quantum relay stations to Vorthok Prime, the sprawling world that served as the military center of the Dominion. There, High Commander Zarthol reviewed the report from his throne-like command platform. Unlike lower-ranking Vorthok, Zarthol's carapace bore intricate patterns marking his centuries of service and countless conquests. Interesting, he mused, studying holographic projections of Earth and its solar system. They've achieved more than most primitives, yet their warning suggests fear rather than strength. Sub-Commander Krixta approached, her wings folded in respect. Should we dispatch an evaluation fleet, High Commander? Zarthol considered the options. The Dominion's standard protocol for newly discovered civilizations was straightforward. Evaluate, intimidate, and integrate. Species that submitted peacefully became client states, contributing resources and personnel to the Dominion. Those that resisted were subjugated by force. Send a single battle cruiser, he decided. The inexorable Claw, under Commander Veltak. Let him perform a detailed assessment. If these humans are as primitive as they appear, one ship will suffice to demonstrate our superiority. The inexorable Claw was no ordinary vessel. Stretching 3 kilometers in length, it bristled with plasma cannons, antimatter torpedoes, and shield generators powered by captured stellar energy. Its faster-than-light drives could cross the galaxy in weeks, and its crew of 20,000 represented the elite of Vorthok military might. As the massive ship entered hyperspace, bound for Earth's solar system, humanity remained unaware of the approaching threat. However, they were far from idle. Deep beneath mountain ranges, hidden in asteroid hollows, and disguised as mundane satellites, Earth's true defensive network stirred to life. The discovery of faster-than-light communication had not been humanity's first breakthrough. 25 years earlier, scientists experimenting with quantum mechanics had unlocked principles that led to revolutionary weapons technology. These discoveries had been classified at the highest levels, with research conducted in absolute secrecy. Admiral Zhang Wei, commander of Earth's Strategic Defense Initiative, stood in the command center buried beneath the Himalayas. Holographic displays showed the positions of hundreds of hidden weapons platforms throughout the solar system. Status report on Project Aegis, he requested. Colonel Maria Santos responded promptly. All quantum cannon emplacements operational, sir. The gravity wave generators are at full readiness. If anything comes through hyperspace, we'll detect it instantly. Project Aegis represented humanity's most closely guarded secret. While the rest of the galaxy operated on principles of conventional physics, human scientists had discovered how to manipulate quantum fields in ways that defied standard understanding. The resulting weapons couldn't be detected by conventional sensors and could bypass most known defensive systems. 3 weeks after Earth's transmission, proximity alarms sounded throughout the solar system's hidden monitoring network. The inexorable Claw emerged from hyperspace beyond Neptune's orbit, its massive bulk immediately detected by quantum sensors. Commander Veltak stood on his bridge, studying the tactical displays with satisfaction. Begin systematic scans of the inner system. Locate all human installations and defensive positions. The Vorthok's advanced sensors swept across space, cataloging visible human presence, lunar colonies, Mars settlements, asteroid mining stations, and a modest fleet of 200 ships orbiting Earth. To Veltak's experienced eye, it all appeared exactly as expected. A young civilization with primitive defenses. Their largest vessels are barely 500 meters in length, reported the tactical officer. Energy signatures suggest fusion reactors and basic particle weapons. No evidence of shield technology or FTL capability. Veltak's mandibles clicked in anticipation. Open a channel to Earth. Let us see how these humans respond to the reality of Dominion power. On Earth, the alien transmission was received simultaneously by every major communication center. The image that appeared on screens worldwide was calculated to intimidate. Commander Veltak in full military regalia, his compound eyes reflecting light in unsettling patterns. Inhabitants of Earth, he began, his translated voice carrying absolute authority. I am Commander Veltak of the Vorthak Dominion, representing the supreme government of this galactic sector. Your transmission has been received and evaluated. While we acknowledge your desire for autonomy, the Dominion does not recognize the sovereignty claims of primitive species. In the United Earth Coalition Command Center, leaders watched with a mixture of anger and carefully hidden satisfaction. Everything was proceeding exactly as their psychological models had predicted. Veltak continued, you have one solar rotation to prepare for integration into the Dominion. Resistance is inadvisable. Our single vessel possesses sufficient firepower to neutralize your entire defensive capability. Compliance will result in protected client status. Defiance will necessitate forceful subjugation. The choice is yours. Secretary General Vasquez exchanged glances with Admiral Zhang, who gave an almost imperceptible nod. She activated the response channel. Commander Veltak, she said calmly, Earth appreciates the Dominion's position, but must reiterate our stance. We will not surrender our sovereignty. We urge you to reconsider your approach. Our defensive capabilities exceed your current assessment. Veltak's compound eyes seemed to glitter with amusement. Your bravery is admirable but misguided. Since you require a demonstration, observe the fate of your outer defensive platform. On the tactical displays, humanity watched as the inexorable claws-forward cannon charged with crimson energy. The beam lanced out across space, striking an unmanned monitoring station in the asteroid belt. The installation vaporized instantly. That was 1% of our main weapons capacity, Veltak noted casually. Prepare for integration protocols. Resistance will only increase casualties among your population. As the transmission ended, Admiral Zhang turned to his staff. Initiate revelation protocol. All hidden assets go active. Show them why Earth's warning should have been heeded. Across the solar system, hundreds of concealed installations shed their camouflage. Weapon platforms hidden within asteroids emerged. Satellites that appeared to be simple communication relays revealed advanced targeting systems. Most importantly, the quantum field generators positioned at Lagrange points throughout the system powered up, creating an invisible detection grid that could track any object regardless of its stealth technology. In the depths of space, neither side yet realized the true magnitude of the coming conflict. The Vorthak had encountered resistant species before, crushing them with overwhelming force. But humanity possessed something unique, not just advanced technology, but the innovative spirit that had created it and the unified resolve to use it. The stage was set for a battle that would echo across the galaxy, forever changing the balance of power among the stars. Earth had sent its warning. The Galactic Empire had chosen war. Now both sides would discover the true cost of that decision. When titans clash, the first shots of the war that would reshape galactic politics were fired at 1432 Earth Standard Time. Commander Veltak, confident in Vorthak's superiority, ordered a systematic bombardment of Earth's visible defense platforms. The inexorable claws weapons arrays glowed with deadly purpose as targeting solutions locked onto human installations. Fire control, commence attack sequence Alpha, Veltak commanded. Disable their orbital defenses first, then proceed to planetary infrastructure. Brilliant lances of plasma energy streaked across the void, aimed at Earth's space stations and defensive satellites. But as the deadly beams approached their targets, something unprecedented occurred. The human installations seemed to shimmer and blur, and the plasma fire passed harmlessly through empty space. Targeting malfunction. Veltak's voice carried a note of confusion. Negative, Commander, the weapons officer responded, bewilderment evident in his clicking mandibles. Our sensors showed direct hits, but the targets remain undamaged. It's as if they exist in a different dimensional phase. Before Veltak could process this impossibility, Earth's true defensive systems revealed themselves. From hidden positions throughout the solar system, quantum cannons opened fire. These weapons didn't shoot conventional energy or projectiles. They fired concentrated bursts of quantum uncertainty that destabilized matter at the subatomic level. The first volley struck the inexorable claws shields, and Veltak watched in horror as sections of the defensive barrier simply ceased to exist. No explosion, no energy discharge. The shields just vanished as their constituent particles lost cohesion. Impossible, he roared. All power to remaining shields. Return fire on those weapon platforms. But targeting the human weapons proved nearly impossible. The quantum cannons existed in a state of controlled uncertainty, their exact positions fluctuating between multiple probability states. Vortex sensors, designed to track conventional matter and energy, couldn't lock onto targets that defied classical physics. In Earth's Strategic Command Center, Admiral Zhang coordinated the defense with calm precision. Phase 2, he ordered. Activate the gravity wave generators. Let's show them why size doesn't matter in quantum warfare. Throughout the solar system, massive installations hidden within asteroids and moons came online. These gravity wave generators created localized distortions in space-time itself, turning the space around the inexorable claw into a treacherous maze of gravitational anomalies. Commander Veltak gripped his command throne as his ship began to shudder. Navigation. What's happening? Gravitational readings are fluctuating wildly, Commander. It's as if space itself is being twisted around us. Our engines can't compensate for the constantly changing field dynamics. The massive battlecruiser, designed to dominate through sheer firepower and intimidation, found itself trapped in a web of gravitational forces that threatened to tear it apart. Bulkheads groaned under the stress, and power systems flickered as the ship's structure fought against the warping of space around it. On Earth, General Cooper coordinated with the Fleet Command. Launched the Quantum Squadron. Time to show them our mobile capabilities. From hidden bases on the far side of the moon, 30 sleek vessels emerged. These ships, no larger than conventional frigates, represented the pinnacle of human military technology. Their hulls incorporated quantum phase materials that could shift between different states of matter, while their engines utilized controlled microsingularities for propulsion. Captain Jessica Chen, leading the squadron from the bridge of the Heisenberg's principle, gave her orders. All ships engage quantum drives. Attack pattern Sigma 7. The human vessels didn't move through space in any conventional sense. Instead, they collapsed their quantum wave functions at one location and reformed at another, appearing to teleport across vast distances. To the Vortex sensors, it seemed as if the human ships were everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. Multiple contacts. The Vortex tactical officer reported in panic. They're appearing and disappearing at random. Our targeting computers can't establish locks. The Quantum Squadron began their assault, firing weapons that defied conventional understanding. Probability torpedoes that existed in multiple states until they chose which point in the enemy's timeline to detonate. Causality disruptors that created localized temporal paradoxes, causing sections of the Vortex ship to age 1,000 years in seconds. Commander Veltak watched helplessly as his mighty battlecruiser was systematically dissected by forces he couldn't comprehend. Hull plates aged to dust in moments. Weapon systems were caught in temporal loops, firing the same shot repeatedly until their power cores overloaded. Crew members found themselves phasing through solid matter as their quantum states became unstable. Emergency transmission to High Command. Veltak ordered desperately. The humans possess technology beyond our understanding. Request immediate reinforcements. But the message never reached Vorthek Prime, Earth's quantum communication interceptors, operating on principles that transcended conventional faster-than-light transmission, caught and dissolved the signal before it could propagate through hyperspace. Admiral Zhang observed the battle's progress with grim satisfaction. Begin Phase 3. Deploy the dimensional anchor. In the space around the crippled Vorthek ship, reality itself began to solidify in strange ways. The dimensional anchor was humanity's most ambitious creation, a device that could lock a region of space into a single quantum state, preventing faster-than-light travel, teleportation, or any form of dimensional manipulation. "Commander," the Vorthek navigation officer reported with growing horror, "our hyperdrive is non-functional. Something is preventing us from accessing hyperspace." Veltak's compound eyes widened as the full implications struck him. They were trapped, cut off from retreat or reinforcement, facing an enemy whose technology operated on principles the Dominion had never encountered. The final phase of the battle saw the deployment of humanity's most controversial weapon, the consciousness resonator. This device, developed by combining quantum mechanics with advanced neuroscience, could induce specific mental states in biological beings across vast distances. Dr. Sarah Chen, the weapon's creator, stood beside Admiral Zhang. "Sir, the consciousness resonator is charged and targeted. On your command, we can broadcast a single overwhelming message directly into every Vorthek mind on that ship." Zhang nodded slowly. "Do it. Let them understand that our warning was not born of fear, but of mercy." The resonator activated, and across the inexorable claw, every Vorthek simultaneously experienced the same vision. A glimpse of human history, of their struggles, their triumphs, their capacity for both creation and destruction. Most importantly, they felt humanity's unwavering determination to remain free. Commander Veltak staggered under the weight of the revelation. In that moment, he understood that the Dominion had fundamentally misjudged humanity. These were not primitives playing with forces beyond their comprehension. They were innovators who had taken a different path to power, one that made their modest appearance a carefully crafted deception. "Stand down all weapons," Veltak ordered, his voice heavy with defeat. "Signal our surrender." But Admiral Zhang wasn't finished. As the Vorthek ship drifted powerless in space, he authorized one final demonstration, not of destruction, but of humanity's true capability. The quantum field generators reconfigured, and space around the inexorable claw began to shift. The crippled battlecruiser was gently moved, relocated across the solar system to orbit near Pluto, where it could pose no threat to Earth while remaining intact. "Commander Veltak," Admiral Zhang's image appeared on the Vorthek bridge. "Your ship and crew will be released unharmed, but with one modification. We're installing a quantum beacon that will broadcast everything you've witnessed here to every Dominion ship that enters this system. Let your empire know that humanity chose mercy today, but we possess the power to enforce our sovereignty." In the weeks that followed, the inexorable claw limped back to Dominion space, its crew forever changed by their encounter. The quantum beacon ensured that their stories spread throughout the Empire, transmitted directly into the consciousness of any Vorthek who approached Earth's solar system. High Commander Zarthol received Veltak's report with a mixture of disbelief and growing concern. Independent verification confirmed the impossible. A primitive species had developed technology that operated outside the Dominion's understanding of physics. "What are your recommendations?" Zarthol asked his defeated commander. Veltak's antennae drooped with shame but also wisdom. "High Commander, we must acknowledge that our assessment protocols are flawed. The humans represent something new, a species that chose to hide their true capabilities while developing along an entirely different technological path. They sent us a warning, and we dismissed it as primitive posturing. That arrogance nearly cost us everything." The Galactic Dominion convened an emergency session of the High Council. For the first time in millennia, they faced a species that had successfully resisted their expansion, not through military might alone, but through innovative thinking that had produced weapons the Dominion couldn't counter or even properly understand. The debate raged for days. Some called for a massive fleet action to crush humanity before they could spread their quantum technology. Others argued for diplomatic engagement with a species that had shown both unprecedented power and unexpected mercy. Eventually, pragmatism prevailed. The Dominion issued a formal recognition of Earth's sovereignty and established a neutral zone around the Sol system. The decision sent shockwaves through the galaxy as subject species learned that the seemingly invincible empire had been stopped by a young civilization that dared to think differently. On Earth, the victory was celebrated, but leadership remained cautious. In an address to the United Earth Coalition, Secretary General Vasquez outlined the path forward. "We've won our freedom, but at the cost of revealing our capabilities. The galaxy now knows that humanity will not be conquered or controlled. Some will fear us, others will seek to learn from us. We must be prepared for both reactions." Dr. Marcus Rivera, whose detection of alien signals had started it all, was asked about the implications for humanity's future. "We've announced ourselves to the galaxy in the most dramatic way possible," he reflected. "We showed that innovation and determination can overcome established power. That message will resonate with every species living under Dominion rule. We've not just defended Earth. We've potentially sparked a revolution in how the galaxy thinks about power and freedom." The quantum beacon installed on the inexorable claw continued to broadcast humanity's story across the stars. Ships from dozens of species began arriving at the edge of the neutral zone, not to invade, but to learn. Earth had become a symbol of successful resistance against the established order. The Vorthak Dominion, forced to acknowledge a peer rather than a subject, began the difficult process of adapting to a galaxy where their technological superiority was no longer absolute. Trade negotiations replaced invasion plans. Scientific exchanges were proposed to understand quantum mechanics. Commander Veltak, his career saved by his honest reporting of the encounter, became an unexpected advocate for new approaches to galactic relations. His experience had taught him that true strength sometimes lay in recognizing the strength of others. Years later, as humanity took its place among the spacefaring civilizations, the Battle of Sol was remembered not just as a military victory, but as the moment when a young species proved that there were many paths to power. Earth's warning had been ignored, and war had been chosen. But in that choice, the Galactic Empire had inadvertently created the catalyst for its own transformation. The stars, which had once seemed so distant and full of threats, now beckoned with possibilities. Humanity had sent a warning, fought a war, and emerged not as conquerors, but as innovators who would help reshape the galactic community. The message was clear. Respect for sovereignty and diversity of thought would define the new era. Earth had stood its ground, and in doing so, had changed the course of galactic history forever.